In college football, as your first year as a head coach is important, as it shows how much promise your team can have in the future. And there wasn't a bigger first year head coach this season than Coach Prime. As this year, Colorado went 4-8 and had only one win in conference play, but I still think Coach Prime first year at Colorado was a success. And I want to break down to all the haters out there and all the people that kind of somewhat lost faith in Coach Prime as the season went along, why I think Coach Prime's first season at Colorado was a success. And the first reason why I think it was a success is simply because last season, Colorado was a 1-win team, and this season they're 3 wins above that at 4. And it isn't like their wins came against weak opponents. They beat Nebraska, who didn't make a bowl game, but they won 5 games. They beat TCU, a team that made the college football playoffs last year, but also had a lot of turnover coming into this season. Then they beat Colorado State. Then after that, they dropped 2 games back-to-back to Oregon and USC, where really both games wasn't really that close. Then after that, they beat Arizona State, giving them their first conference win of the season. The only problem is the next game they dropped that bad game to Stanford where they blew the lead in the second half. But then after that, they competed in games against UCLA, Oregon State, and Arizona, in which I believe UCLA was ranked at the time, and Oregon State and Arizona are 2 of some of the better teams in the Pac-12. Then after that, they dropped the last 2 games also against Washington State, where Washington State blew them out, and Utah, where they competed against Utah. And then maybe if they had Shedeur, they would have won. So when you look at it, yeah, they were 4-8, but they were a competitive 4-8 against some good teams. As they competed against Arizona and Oregon State, and those were 2 of some of the better teams in Pac-12. Not only that, they also had a close call, I guess, against USC, even though USC was kind of up big for most of that game. But they fought back and had a chance to basically win the game. And those type of games are games you look at and you are happy about if you're a fan and the coach, because it's like, yeah, we lost and it was close, but it's like, if a couple more things go our way, we win and we're a bowl team. And another reason why I think it was successful is that when you watch the games, you see the players that are coming back and you look at them as building blocks. As you can look at Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Edwards, Jimmy Horn Jr., Omarion Miller, and Travis Hunter, all key pieces to the offense last year that are going to probably come back this year. Then you look at defense, they're going to have Jordan Dominic come back, Cameron Simon Craig come back, Amari McNeil, Cormani McClain, Travis Hunter, and it's going to be some more guys coming back on offense and defense, but those are important because, you know, this was really some of these guys' first year playing with each other, but now they're going to have an offseason with each other and they're going to build more continuity within each other. And for the 2 reasons why I just said I think Coach Prime had a successful season, I want to point out to some examples. The first example I want to point out is Mike Norvell's seasons at FSU. As look at the graphic I made, it shows Mike Norvell's first 2 seasons at FSU wasn't all great. They had games where they competed, but they also had games where they just choked and lost. Also, if you look at those teams, they also had guys like Akeem Dent, Ontario Wilson, and Jordan Travis. All those players helped build what FSU is now. He also went out and attacked the transfer portal and got guys like Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell, and Ventrell Cephas. Maybe even a better example is what James Franklin did at Vanderbilt. As look at this graphic I made again, Franklin went 6-7, then he went 9-4 in back-to-back seasons. And some of the reasons why he went 9-4 in back-to-back seasons was he had players there from that 6-7 season that helped build those 2 teams. As during some of those years, Vanderbilt had Jordan Matthews, Jordan Rogers, also had Zach Stacy all on offense. They also had Chase Ganem, Kenny Ladler, and Rob Lohr on defense. And I mentioned all those players because they helped bring continuity throughout James Franklin's tenure there, as they were there for 2 or more years. And not only that, Coach Prime has done a okay job in the recruiting department, as Coach Prime did address some needs that you're going to see next season. As we know, offensive line, defense line was bad this season, but he went out and got 3 defense linemen in this year's class so far and 1 offensive lineman. And you got to think, most of those guys really probably aren't going to play too many snaps next season, but Coach Prime is probably going to go out and go in the transfer portal and recruit lots of guys that are going to play next season, while those guys sit next season and come in their sophomore season and play a lot more. So while yes, Coach Pond's first season at Colorado wasn't super great, and there was some things that you didn't like what you saw from the team, as the offensive line, defensive line was bad, but you have good takeaways from this first season. And if Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a college football program.